What's up? Who do we have in? Who's watching? Is anyone watching? Anyways, we are waiting on Justin. Some bad news for those tuning in. Bella cannot make it today because she had some previous engagements that she couldn't switch around, and then Brian is actually traveling, so he's going to try to jump on whenever he gets a chance. But we do have Chad.
Hey,
Chad's here. What's up, buddy?
Not much. How's it going?
Oh, good. Glad you can make it on. I just felt it's weird when you're on by yourself and no one's commenting, so I just feel like you're just talking to yourself. But,
yeah, I can understand that.
Don't worry, we got like 6 people. We got Craig here. Thanks, Craig. Thanks for tuning in. So
it's going, Craig. There we go.
Yeah. So yeah, I was just saying Bella had a previous engagement that she couldn't switch around, and Brian is traveling. So if you guys haven't had a chance, go ahead, head to our website. Brian has his recap from Fittest of the Coast, and he also has a pretty good preview on the Fittest experience. So kind of bummed that I couldn't make it to the Fittest experience. I've been there before. Chad, you haven't made it down there, have you?
I have not. I've never been to either of those events.
It's a pretty cool, like I said, it's that second tier of competition, I guess, or maybe the third tier. I guess maybe second tier, I guess. But I call it like the regional circuit. But it's pretty well done. Like I said, Jeremy, who runs that, he's an OG when it comes to CrossFit. I believe he finished like on a podium back in the day when it was back in the ranch. But he's been around. This competition's been around going on 16 years. So as outside of, I mean, we could be wrong, but that could be the longest run fitness / CrossFit competition besides the games. Oh, you have a Rangers fan. What jersey is that?
Yes.
What jersey is that?
That's a local Rangers jersey. Yes.
Local Rangers. Nice. It's funny that I'm condensing a lot of stuff at home. And that includes like my card collection. So what I'm doing is just like basically like giving away all my sports cards. Well, not the good ones.
Are you?
No, not all of them. I'm keeping the good ones. But you buy a pack of cards and you get maybe like one good player, and then the rest are called commons. So I'm kind of like, I did this a long time ago when I stopped collecting cards. I would package them all in these like little packages, and then that's what I would give them away during Halloween for kids. So I'm kind of doing that right now.
My son has just started collecting cards,
like hockey cards or just sports cards in general.
Sports cards in general, in general.
Yeah.
So it's a new thing.
You need to talk to Greg. He I guess he has a podcast on sports cards. He's the MC. He does the MC for all the Canadian events. Lancote. Greg Lancote. Yeah, but he collects cards too. So me and him go back and forth. He mainly collects hockey cards and I guess soccer cards. But yeah.
All right.
Look who we have here.
What's up, guys?
Hey, Justin. Sorry, we're talking about sports cards. You ever collect any? Did you collect sports cards growing up?
I did not.
You didn't? Oh,
nope.
Okay. Just no design. Pokemon cards?
Wasn't a cool kid like that.
So it was Pokemon? It was Pokemon?
Nope. Nothing.
Nothing. You just all right. Okay.
Just played sports.
You do? Yeah. You just played sports. You just didn't have time
played sports. Yeah,
no
I guess so. Yeah, played
it.
Outside. Not a lot of video games, nothing like that.
Yeah. Oh, that's funny. Yeah, we're just talking about that because during the pandemic, I started collecting sports cards again for some reason. I don't know. And then now I'm just trying to get rid of all of them because I just don't have enough room.
I feel like I used to have like a deck of Pokemon cards that I got from somebody, and then I'm like, man, if I could find those now, it'd probably worth so much money.
You probably have a Charizard that's like worth $1 million.
Yeah, whatever. I know.
Logan Paul like bought one for a couple mil or something like that.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah. How you doing?
Good. How about you guys?
Great. I'm good. I don't know if you've met Chad before.
I don't think so.
Not officially. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Chad handles a lot of our marketing. He's our our creative guy. He's it. I mean, you're probably more familiar with his work than you are with him. He did a lot of the design work for the Buttery Bros.
Oh yeah, I think I've probably just like through word of mouth and stuff.
Yeah, he's done a lot of podium stuff. He does so he has a real connection with Paul and Shay and the whole podium crew there. So
that's awesome.
Thanks for joining us. It's your off day today, huh? Or rest day?
Yeah, I mean, just swimming and stuff today, but
swimming.
Yeah, not too much gym stuff, which is nice.
Yeah, is that typically on a Thursday that you have your rest day?
Yeah, Mondays, Thursdays.
Okay. Is Monday a pure off day? Like you don't do anything? Okay.
Yeah.
I've been noticing that a lot lately. Like more athletes are taking Monday as opposed to Sunday as a rest day. Why do you think that is?
We always just do it because competitions Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah.
And I don't have really much of a life outside of CrossFit. So it's just like just for training purposes. Just like you train Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday off, keep going.
I don't believe that whatsoever when you say you don't have a life outside of CrossFit. That might be how you, I don't know, maybe earn your living, I guess. Or
I mean, I'm doing the podcast out of my gym, so
yeah. Well, I mean, I'm doing it out of my office, so I'm technically working. But
me too. It's my office.
So I watched your latest YouTube video. So did you get back into it on Sunday then? Start back up with training for the season?
Yeah, pretty much. Just got in, like started moving a little bit on Friday. Caught like a bug a little bit from Waza.
I think everyone did.
Yeah, I know. Hit hard. So
yeah.
Kind of just did a little bit of light movement, not anything too crazy, and then kind of getting back into it good this week.
Yeah, I noticed you mentioned the stair stepper. How long have you been incorporating the stair stepper in your training, or at least recovery or whatever?
Not long, honestly. I there was just a company that kind of reached out that has like a in-house kind of stair stepper that's like small, compact, get to put it in, and I was actually been looking for some on Facebook Marketplace. Just they're pretty expensive.
Yeah.
So trying to find a good deal and stuff, and they happened to like hook one up. So just kind of incorporating that in as much. I mean, it's just great to warm up on. I hop on it like 5 or 10 minutes before most sessions and stuff, and it gets me super warm, heart rate elevated, like hips, glutes, everything like that activated, which is super easy. And it's like nice for doing zone 2 stuff. It's got a big old screen. It's got like YouTube, Spotify, like Netflix. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Oh, see, aren't you glad?
Peloton of stair steppers.
Yeah. That's crazy, because if you would have went on Marketplace, you would have probably found some like old beat up ones.
Yeah, dude, the ones I was looking at looked a little
options.
Sketchy. No, they're sketchy ones for sure.
Exactly. Maybe a cup holder you could put your phone to watch YouTube in. Maybe. Yeah. So I think, I'm a big Pat McAfee fan. I listen to that religiously. I mean, that's like my main source of when I'm working. That's on, and I mean, obviously, watching that video, it seems that you are too. I mean, it seems like you're just a sports fan in general.
Yeah, no, 100%.
Yeah. Do you? I mean, what is it about? I mean, I know why I enjoy Pat McAfee. Why do you enjoy it? Or join him?
I mean, I knew of him obviously when he was in the NFL. Like, obviously he was a punter. It's not like you were a huge fan of anybody specifically like that, but he like kind of started his like podcast / show, and it's just with like him and all of his friends,
boys,
boys. And I think that's like the coolest thing about it, especially that he could have played more years in the NFL but stopped because this is what he like wants to do, so it was just cool to see like him have tons of success kind of following something that he wanted to do with all of his friends. And you can tell that I think he's out there having a good time. I actually met him last year, and it was probably like one of the first times I like not fanboyed, but like was like, I have to go introduce myself. Like, when am I ever going to be able to see this guy again? So but yeah, he's pretty cool. And I feel like he's like good person, like down the middle, kind of doesn't like support of all the athletes, which is pretty cool because obviously he was one. But yeah, so I like listening to his stuff. I don't get to watch. Obviously, I'm training all weekend, so I don't get to watch much sports. So then during the week, kind of just like pop it on, get to see all the recaps, staying to touch, even though I'm not really watching much of it.
Yeah. I just,
Mhm.
yeah, for like everything you said, that's why, being a former football player, obviously I'm a lot older than he is, but it's just cool just hearing his perspective. You have a lot of former athletes that have podcast shows and stuff like that, but it seems like a lot of them are constrained. They're trying to please somebody or something, and he's on there and he has no filter. Even under the ESPN, like, the ESPN Disney whatever, like, ownership or whatever he's doing with now, he's still,
Yeah.
Last week he, like, the guy Norby Jones that he attacked, one of the senior vice presidents, that's a guy who I knew when I was at ESPN. It's like that was just ballsy for him to do, and it's just really cool. It's refreshing.
Yeah, no, 100%.
Yeah.
Justin, do you ever think about like life after competing? Like,
for sure. No, I definitely think about what would happen when I'm done competing. Hopefully I've had a lot more success than I've had and I'm done, and I can kind of ride off into the sunset doing what I want. But I definitely I love CrossFit. I want to be in the CrossFit space. Obviously the dream's like to have a program, like train athletes. Like, I love doing this and I want to be a part of it even when I'm done as an athlete.
With that being said, it's today is actually Matt Fraser's birthday, so I'm pretty sure he's not going to watch this or listen to it. So happy birthday, Matt. But do you think
he must be watching?
Have a really, yeah, he is watching. He's in Hawaii, just listening to this right now. So for those who, everyone wished Fraser a happy birthday. It was really cool because I was watching that Podium podcast that you and him did.
Yeah.
And it was just really fun watching you. It seems like you two have a really I really can't describe your friendship. I wouldn't say maybe you can describe your friendship. Is this something where it's more of like a mentor-mentee, or is it a close friendship? Or, how would your relationship be considered?
Yeah, no, I think it's changed, I guess. But like, obviously going into the 2020 games, that was my rookie year. That was his last year, and I think I was surprised. Like, I remember meeting him and he's like, dude, like, here's my phone number. If you ever need anything, like, reach out. Like, doesn't matter what it is about, like, life, CrossFit, no matter what, just reach out. And I was like, man, that's awesome. But he's probably just being nice. Like, I'm never going to hear from him again. Like, you've heard the stories about Matt, like, kind of being pretty secluded and doesn't like doesn't show most, like, a lot of what he's up to. And then obviously when it comes out that he was retired and stuff, it made a lot more sense. But yeah, he invited me out that early in before the 2021 games, and trained with him for like a week and learned so much. It's he's a really good dude. Obviously now that he's done, he's kind of opened up and kind of shown a lot of the stuff he's been up to. Obviously he has his program and everything now, but I think there's a lot of stuff that you see in CrossFit gym, like anywhere that has competitive athletes, that is piggybacking off some of the stuff that's come out since he like kind of released everything. I don't want to say like released everything, but I feel like I feel like zone 2 training wasn't a staple in a lot of people's program, and that's it. Even like the stair stepper, I feel like he was the first person I ever saw with the stair stepper going over to his place, and now there's lots of people that like advocate for that. And I think 40-minute EMOMs, that's a big one that I feel like most gyms do now with competitive athletes. So it's pretty cool. He definitely helped like grow and push the sport for sure.
Are you kind of using like what he's doing post competition kind of maybe as a model? Like, are you paying attention to what he's doing? Because you mentioned like, having a gym, possibly coaching, all the business ventures he's had. You're a part of some of those business ventures with Podium and whatnot. Are those things you're kind of taking note right now? Or are you just kind of, are you just more concentrated on, hey, I'm competing now, I'm going to worry about competing, all that stuff will come later, as my career comes to a close?
Yeah, no, 100%. Everything that he's done. Ellie just made me a coffee.
Oh,
so nice.
Nice.
I know.
Wow.
Goals.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
No, that's fine. It's great.
So sorry, but yeah, no, everything that Matt's done has obviously been something that I'm chasing. What he's done as an athlete and post, right now I'm sticking to the athlete side of things, trying to chase him down on that aspect first. And then obviously when he's done, I mean, obviously to have your own program, be as successful as him, being able to train athletes at the top of the sport. I mean, it's definitely a dream scenario for me, and hopefully like he can help kind of guide that path for me when I'm done competing. But it's really, really cool to see someone like him, and even Rich, that has had such success. I mean, Rich is retired, I guess, now, but even since his individuals, he's built a whole separate career outside competing, which is really cool through CrossFit, and definitely something that I want to follow. I mean, Matt doesn't have an affiliate, Rich does, and Rich, I think, is kind of combined like the affiliate and kind of what Matt's doing all into one. Don't know which avenue I would want to go down either. I mean, they're both super intriguing, obviously, but just to be a part of the community like they still are is pretty awesome.
Well, I think you mentioned that trip you made out there to visit Matt and kind of train with her. I think during that same time you actually went to Mayhem as well.
Yeah.
And kind of like, and it's just really cool to see, like, you know, two of the goats to kind of just like extend that invitation, kind of show you what's behind, how the sausage is made and stuff like that. And it seems like that relationship's still there, and that at any time, you know, they can offer that. I think that's kind of misplaced between those two, is that they're competitors, but they're always willing to help. They're willing
100%. I mean, especially now that they're done, it's a lot easier for them.
Yeah, for sure.
to help. But yeah, no, 100%. It's really cool to see what they've done.
Well, you mentioned, I mean, obviously you mentioned Ellie making you a coffee there. And, you know, obviously she's there. She's at is it officially the Shred Shed? Is that what we're going with?
Yep.
Okay.
Did
you get something? Yeah, the Shred Shed it is. And then I was talking to Daniel Robbins, you know, your manager, your one of your best friends. And then I also talked to Cooper. I guess Cooper just moved up there in the Boise area. Daniel lives there. They mentioned something, you know, Ellie lives there. They mentioned a couple more athletes possibly coming up and living in that area and training with you. Is that what you're trying to do? Like try to make Boise, Idaho kind of like the Cookeville of the Pacific Northwest? Or
No, 100%, man. There's actually not much out on the West Coast, you know, which is crazy. I mean, you look at athletes and who's all out here. I mean, there's not many of us out this way, but it's pretty cool that Boise's kind of grown into that. I mean, I've been here since 2017. Dallas, he's my like video guy, kind of does all my social media stuff. He lives here. Daniel, like you said, Cooper, Trista, one of the teenage girls that we have trained with, she is graduating high school this year and is going to come to Boise State. But it's just pretty cool to kind of have a good group of people here, because Adam is all the way out in Washington. You know, it is 6 hours away. We do make so many trips out here, and I feel like Boise is the most ideal spot for training. But the only thing that we're missing, which is Adam, which is obviously a huge part of it. We FaceTime, we do so many things, send videos back and forth, but obviously like that in-person training is hard to beat. But I do feel like we got a really good system, and I'm super excited about like this year and how we're going to kind of do that, because every year is different. Every year we're trying to change things. Every year we're trying to get better. Some years it happens, some years it doesn't, but that doesn't mean we're going to keep trying.
Oh no, that's the beauty of sport, right? It's like even the Patriots, as good as they are, I mean, they have down seasons. You know, the Kansas City Chiefs, you know, stuff like that. You mentioned Trista, you know, her very, very underrated and successful teen career. Did you get a chance to see her at all competing at Wodapalooza, or were you just really just too busy with the stuff you had going on?
I got to see one of her events on Friday, but other than that, Saturday and Sunday, no. But definitely like watching the leaderboard, talking to her after the events, hearing how they go, and all those things. I mean, she's definitely a unique athlete. I mean, she goes out there, like, has so much fun competing and is always like proud of the effort, but she's a competitor, man. I mean, it's crazy to think that she's still just a senior in high school. I mean, it's wild.
It's crazy.
It's
wild. Crazy, especially it's like when I talk to these the teen athletes, and it's just hard for me to wrap my head around that. Yeah, I mean, she finished third in the RX division. It was kind of a last minute thing. I believe she got the invite last minute, and she finished third in the RX division. That RX division, it's it's kind of a precursor of how you are as an athlete. You know, if you've had success in that RX division, more than likely, you know, and she's had success. She went to the semifinals. She was in the same semifinals this past year, and you know, she was there with along the likes of some of the great athletes there. You know, Katrin.
Yeah.
And, you know, it was just cool seeing her compete, and I can't think of a better coach than Adam and two better role models than you and Ellie
Oh,
to
I
kind of learn
appreciate it.
from.
Yeah,
No,
no,
I
I mean,
mean,
she
I mean,
definitely,
that's true.
yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, she's a competitor though. I mean, I don't think she qualified. I mean, obviously she wasn't planning on doing the qualifier for Wodapalooza, kind of hit it, obviously didn't qualify, but ended up getting a backfill spot and then goes to compete like kind of last minute and ends up on the podium. I mean,
Yeah.
she's definitely a competitor and kind of rises to those occasions, you know? So definitely really excited. I mean, I think about what I was doing in high school and stuff. I mean, obviously I was doing everything I possibly could just to become a teenage games athlete, and that didn't happen. So it's really cool to see like some of these young teenagers and kind of see where they're going to go. I think in the men's division, like Dallin has kind of been the
He's been
person
it.
that's done that first.
Mhm.
You know, I mean, there's been lots of teenage games athletes on the men's side that kind of fizzled out going into individual competition, but he's kind of been the guy and constantly getting better with I think got top 5 this year at the
Yep.
games. He got 5th. So
Yep.
it's pretty cool to see what he's done too, because he was kind of everything I wanted to be as a teenager.
Yeah.
It obviously didn't happen, but yeah, no, it's pretty cool to see what he's doing now.
I think you're okay. I think, you know, I think I would have traded that teen success for the success you've had, especially the last, the last 4 years. I mean, I think you did all right.
Yeah, I mean, I remember competing at Wodapalooza from 2016 to 2019. I went twice as a teenager, once in RX, and then once in Elite in 2019. And I remember in 2019, that was my first year like aged out.
Yep.
But I could have competed as a teenager, I think, because the Wodapalooza was 18 and younger,
Yep.
but the like CrossFit Games season is 17 and under. But I remember I was like, oh, I could have competed. And I remember going and watching the teenage event, just kind of being curious about it and seeing Dallin being like, this is the teenagers that are coming up. Like, I'm so screwed. I'm never going to make the games, you know? But it was pretty cool to kind of like, I vividly remember that moment. I've told him about it before in the past. And then to see him now at the games is pretty cool.
You mentioned a 2019 Wodapalooza. This is actually, this past year is the first time you've competed at Wodapalooza since 2019. I mean, you've been there pretty much every year, you know, whether it be for partnership obligations or whatnot. I mean, last year you did the Crucible. Well, not the Crucible. What was it called? The
the one for all the
community,
spectators and stuff.
The community event.
The Gauntlet.
The Gauntlet. That's it. The Gauntlet. Yeah. But this year, what dragged you? I mean, what dragged you to do Wodapalooza, and what made you go team of all things?
Yeah, I mean, for one, Wodapalooza is awesome. I mean, I want to compete as in many competitions as I can all year, just because it's so much fun to get on the competition floor, especially at Wodapalooza. I mean, it's definitely a very unique event, but I think this offseason has looked very different for me compared to what it has in the past, just with obviously what happened at the games, kind of sitting trying to evaluate what happened and how we kind of fix that going forward. And for us, that kind of meant taking a little bit more of an off season and not competing as much as I would. I've done Rogue obviously the past 2 years, but excuse me, and wanted to make sure that my body was healthy and right. But I also didn't want to do a whole off season without competing at all. And I know like I did I did a powerlifting meet. Those aren't like the, I guess, competitions that people would think of, but to me, like competition is competition. When you have that date on the calendar that you have to train for and be prepared for and be ready for, that's what I am. Like I'm a competitor. It doesn't matter what I'm going to do. Like I'm going to be competing for it. So that was kind of the idea of doing the powerlifting meet, and then wanting to Wodapalooza, obviously prioritizing an off season, kind of getting back to having fun, but still kind of getting out on the competition floor and kind of seeing where I'm at a little bit. So that was kind of the idea of Wodapalooza. Get out there on a stage where you're still going to have to perform. Yes, it's in a team setting. It's going to be fun, but it was obviously like a really good showing. I mean, it was team event, but I felt really good getting back out there on the competition floor. Kind of shakes off some of those nerves and things that you've been like, man, I didn't compete this offseason. Like, how's my fitness doing? Where am I standing? Like, it was pretty cool to kind of haven't been taking fitness super seriously, but obviously still feeling really fit, and kind of just puts you in a really good spot kind of going into this year and the season, because the season's quick, but it also can feel very long. So making sure that your body's right and healthy, and you can have a good platform built in the off season that allows you to really push yourself and be as fit as you can comes game time.
Justin, I was going to ask, you're saying about like kind of using this as like oftentimes you use competitions as fitness tests and where you're at. With this being a team, like were you able to like test your fitness against your teammates, or like looking at other guys across the board?
Yeah,
because
no,
you
I think,
are sort of just single, like
it's
different.
It is very different. I mean, there are certain aspects of it where you do get to go. Like you see the sandbag event, it's kind of like a 1v1. Obviously, it's super sprinty. We're not going to see much of that in individual competition, but you still get to kind of get into that race and get that adrenaline pumping and kind of feel if you like rise or fall, like kind of where you're at, and that feeling of only people in competition know of, kind of doing a workout and being in the race. And you might not be like winning it from the get-go, but sticking to your plan, executing a plan, and pushing, and knowing that when you cross the finish line at the end, you're going to be in a good spot. And I think with our team, we had that in a lot of events where we might not have been in the first from the very beginning, but we had a plan that we stuck to. And at the end of the workout, I mean, all of us were like, that was awesome. I mean, we did the best that we could. And I think that's a lot how I try to compete when I'm competing. I mean, as long as I can cross that finish line, knowing that I did everything I could. And at Wodapalooza, there's definitely events like that. I think the Echo Bike one was also an event like that where I went first, and you look at left and right, and it's all like the big guys on the Echo Bike for the first round, because that's where you all get to go. And I'm like, well, we'll see where I'm kind of at here too. But it was a really fun event, and definitely I left feeling really good about my fitness. Obviously, it's team competition. You can't really look too much into it, because a lot of it is just how the team works together. And the guys that I was with, we worked together really well. But it was super fun. I think it was awesome. We'll see if I get to do it next year. I mean, kind of see how it goes season by season. But it was definitely really fun doing team.
Yeah, it was a very unique team. And did you have a chance to talk to Willie about? I mean, Willie's a very unique person in terms of, I mean, just unique to begin. I mean, that's the best way to describe him. But this is a guy who's retired from CrossFit, but yet he still maintains a level of fitness that can help out. I mean, help you guys win a championship at Wodapalooza. I mean, did you ask him or kind of pick his brain about some of the stuff, like what he does on the off season, how he stays in shape, how he keeps that mentality, or, just to show up at an event like that and just compete?
Yeah, I mean, so how it kind of the team kind of came together is we were going to make a trip out to Australia this year, just kind of hang out, see how these families do the Down Under Championship. And GoWad is just awesome. The people there, they're my first sponsor. They've supported anything that I want to do. They're the reason why I have a YouTube channel in the first place. They're just awesome people. And they were going to help out with travel to Australia, and if we like put together a team to compete. And we were thinking, like obviously Jay's there, Willie's like an OG GoWad athlete, super close with Tebow. And that was kind of the plan. One thing led to another. We didn't get to compete, or we didn't end up going to Australia. So I mentioned like, hey, like I do want to do Wodapalooza. The only other option I have to do team with is Jason, and I'm not doing that. So I ended up kind of saying like, hey, like I'd love to do team at Wodapalooza if you guys were down. And Tebow was super pumped about it. He's like, yeah, if you want to do it, reach out to them. They were stoked and kind of put it together. But it's pretty cool. I mean, we obviously never train with each other. We got Australian, freaking someone from Europe, someone from the States. And it was pretty cool for all of us to get together and kind of crush it. Says a lot about, I think, our personalities and kind of who we all are. We can all get along, have a really good time, but also compete really well.
That really showed in your when you guys announced your team.
Yeah,
the little video. I loved it. I mean, the sleeve. I mean, make the arm sleeve. That was awesome, dude.
Yeah, dude,
that was great.
It was super cool. That they all hit the spots pretty spot on.
It's really cool. I mean, getting to know Jay the last couple of years and just seeing him progress into the especially this past year. yeah, it was just really cool to see you guys there. And yeah, but you made it out. Did you make it out of Miami all right? I mean, did you fly out the next day or because?
Yeah, well, I had I had my connecting flight get canceled,
Okay.
so then I rebooked, but that was like days in advance. So I like rebooked flights and was able to get out of there. I had like changed my flight to like a 40-minute layover in Phoenix, so I was pushing pace, but I ended up making it, which was nice. I mean, got home earlier than I would have if I was on my other flight. But yeah, no, it was good. It was crazy. I mean, with everyone being sick, flights being canceled. I know some people that were stuck there till Thursday. I mean, it was pretty crazy.
Yeah, and you came home to, I mean, I guess a bunch of snow, and so it was bad. It was almost like you want to rest, but you're out there shoveling, so it's like you're getting a workout in anyway.
Yeah, no, it was so much snow here. I mean, I've been here since 2017. It was the most snow. It finally all just melted. We finally started. The weather warmed up and we got rain, but yeah, it was so much snow, probably over a foot in Boise, which is like pretty unusual. Yeah, it was cool though. I mean, it looks awesome. You land here, it's like winter wonderland.
That must be hard for someone like Cooper who just left Arizona.
Dude, the storm literally hit the day that he got here. I was like, man, that's rough. He's probably panicking. I got home and like went over to his house and shoveled his whole driveway. I was like, it's a good housewarming gift. I mean, he literally came here, moved in some stuff, flew home. That was Saturday morning. They drove. Moved in Saturday, Sunday. Monday, flew back to Arizona. Tuesday, flew to Miami. They were in Miami, flew back to Arizona, and then grabbed their dog and then flew here. Hectic. I mean, traveling, moving in, shoveling. So I was like, whatever, I'll go over there and help for a bit. But I'm just stoked that they're all here. I mean, it's nice to have a good crew.
Yeah. How's Theo doing?
He's doing good. I mean, I think if anybody didn't hear, when we were at Wodapalooza, we had a dog sitter and he ended up swallowing something, couldn't pass it, had to go in, get surgery. Ellie ended up flying home to kind of take care of him. So today is actually the 2-week mark where we can finally start letting him kind of move around on his own. Because
do dog things.
Yeah, do dog things. If we couldn't take him outside because we saw a freaking squirrel or something, he'd run, and he's not allowed to run. But he's feeling good now, which is awesome. But it was just hectic, long nights and all that stuff. But yeah, just crazy.
Well, I know a bunch of people were asking about. I mean, me being a dog person.
Oh, I know. I mean, it was just crazy. I mean, he eats like everything, and then he ended up eating a freaking pacifier and couldn't pass it and had to get surgery. Yeah, it was just so hectic.
Oh,
but he's a puppy. He heals fast.
Yep. Yeah. That resiliency is bounce back. Probably learned that from you. So, I mean, you brought it up. This season was less than desirable. It wasn't the results you had. I mean, we don't have to harp on that too much. We talked at semifinals briefly about it, and then again at the games. But what's the plan? Is there a plan put in place to bounce back, or do you just reevaluate the year and you go, okay, I did this different, let's go, or do you go back to what worked before, or are you just constantly evolving the training and the methodology, or you're just trying to find something that sticks?
Yeah, no, I think it's always like constantly evolving. I mean, you look at CrossFit at its roots, it's like constantly varied functional movements, and we're always trying to get that new stimulus. And especially with CrossFit, you look at the games every year, there's new movements, new ways to do it, times get faster, workouts get harder, and just kind of always trying to push the envelope. Obviously, like looking back, seeing what works in the past and using that as a template, but like ultimately just like tinkering with it and trying to find the things that do work and make training fun. And like, for me, I know when I'm enjoying training, like that's when I'm going to get the most out of it. When there's no pressure, I get to walk out here, have fun, train hard. And Adam and Jesse and the whole team kind of do a really good job of keeping things different, but also pretty difficult. I mean, there's always something in the training you kind of look at like, oh, you see that a couple days in advance, and you know it's going to be a rough one. So it's been fun. I mean, I think it's crazy. I've been doing it for 11 years now, and still like it's just crazy doing it for this long. And there's not very many times that you do the same workout multiple times. It's just crazy the variance that we see and how you can still keep getting better and better and better. And I'm 11 years in. I
think that's the one trait that I find probably your biggest strength, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, is I think you have the ability to adapt to any event better than anyone else out the games floor. And I don't know if that's maybe something you learn from wrestling, because, being on the mat, I mean, you just don't never know. You got to constantly be adapting, changing, reacting to what you're, whoever you're wrestling with. And I think, for me, when I talk to like ex-athletes that do CrossFit, they always bring something from the sport that they have. And then when I watch you compete, you just have that great ability to adapt whatever's thrown your way. You do well. I mean, the people out there, fans will say, well, he doesn't win enough, but you finished top 5. And I think that's probably, top 5. You're doing enough to get by to help you win. Yeah. And I think a lot of that has to do with you adapting and not complaining. You just go out there and you're not trying to overthink something. You just go out there and you just do it.
Yeah, no, 100%. I think, especially in a competition week, and there's so many things that are going on, so many things that thrown at you, and you kind of do just kind of have to roll with the punches and not let anything kind of get under your skin too much. At the end of the day, you're going to have to go out there and you're going to have to do the workout. So there's a lot of athletes that throw up tons of fuss about movement standards, whatever it is. And like, I honestly don't care what the standards are, just long as they're the same for everybody. Like, we're all going to have to go out there and do the same thing. So I try not to put too much thought into that kind of coming into athlete briefings. But when I do go into workouts, I mean, that's kind of the plan, is I want to make sure that I execute better than anybody. And if anybody's going to beat me in a workout, it's going to be because they're fitter than me. It's not going to be because I didn't execute well. And I think that's one of the things I learned best from wrestling is there are times when you get beat, like there's guys that are just better than you. And as long as you can evaluate that match and be like, you know what? I wrestled really, really well. I did a lot of smart things. I just got beat, and there's those times in the match where you win and you still wrestled super sloppy, or vice versa, that you did wrestle someone that was better than you, but you also didn't wrestle well. And I think in a 15 event weekend, I mean, that's kind of how it is at the end of every day. I mean, especially after the competition, like you go back and you look at the events that you do really well in, the events that you do really bad in. Sometimes the events that you do really well in, you get that top 5 finish, like, man, like I had a shot to win that and I messed up. Like, yes, I did still got top 5, but the execution wasn't there. And I think that's something that we do put a lot of time and effort in when we're talking about strategy going into a competition or a specific event.
Speaking of former wrestlers, Andrew Hiller, ears up. Did someone say movement standards?
That guy. Yeah. He's always harping on everybody.
I was going to ask Justin about like going strategies and movement standards. Like, so Wodapalooza, there's a lot of contingency workouts. Like, what are your, how do you sort of go into the weekend knowing the events? Obviously, team is a bit more lax, but obviously this can happen at any competition. How do you approach those sort of changes when they sort of happen on the fly?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's obviously just trying to kind of, you really got to listen during the briefings and making sure that you know what's going on, the flow of the event, what happens when there is a new movement standard. And if you get no reps, like on burpees, like you have to go back to the same side, whatever it may is. Like I remember on our sandbag event, they said there's no touch and go. And I'm like, well, how are you dictating that it's not a touch and go rep? Like, and they said your hands got to not be under the bag when the bag hits the ground. So, and I remember like looking in the back where people were kind of following the sandbag to the ground and their hands were staying under it, which that's what I wanted to do because it's a lot faster. And I'm like, it doesn't matter that we can or can't do it as long as everyone's doing the same thing. And I think that's kind of what I look for on movement standards, of just kind of listening to your judge. And ultimately it's like, it's on the judges to kind of hold that standard. I think athletes are trying to go as fast as they possibly can, and it's their call how close they want to ride that. And if they want to ride the line hard, they got to live with if they get no reps or not. And I think definitely when you're competing, you're trying to ride that line as close as you possibly can. Like I'm trying to do as fast singles I can that they almost should look like touch and go, but they're not. Like I'm trying to ride that line as fast as I possibly can. Because an event like that, I mean, we got second, and I think we lost by a couple of seconds, and and that's made up anywhere in that workout. And that's why workouts like that are the toughest to judge, because you want to make sure that the athletes are given the opportunity to kind of like showcase their fitness and really push the event. And when you're doing that, though, the standards kind of Like you're riding the line of it. And in competition, that's what happens. Some people catch the good end of the stick or the bad end of the stick. And I think when you're competing, like you just got to live or die with that. But yeah, I definitely think when I'm competing, like you're trying to ride that line as close as you can.
Yeah. You bring up that event, that event we're talking about is the Tina Hills event. At any point during that, did you catch yourself kind of just soaking in the what was happening, like looking out in the crowd, because you're facing that crowd, and I think Tina Hills is very unique in terms of that. I mean, yes, it's a small stage, but and then right next to you, you're in the middle of a race against Noah, Chandler, Tola, and at any point did you catch yourself just kind of like soaking it in, or were you just focused on the competition?
No, I think this the thing that I remember most of that about event is just like being back in the race and like competition, and like that's what competition is. Like any one of us that were doing that workout in the gym, like we were all going so much faster out there on the competition floor. And I think that's just kind of what it is. I mean, you see the adrenaline, you see that you're in the race. And I remember like just like 3, 2, 1, go. Like it's all of a sudden you're just complete full throttle in that event. And especially when you get kind of halfway through into the round of sevens, I mean, you kind of see that race, you see the people that you're in with, and you're like, all right, like, let's push the pace now. Like, let's see if we can get them, you know? And I think the team did that. I mean, going into the last set of cleans, I think me and Noah were all tied up.
Yep.
I slipped up a little bit. I really pushed those rounds of 9 and 7 to kind of give us a chance to be in the race. Ultimately, we let it behind, but man, that was still probably one of my favorite events of the weekend, just to kind of be out there throwing down with all those guys.
On the opposite scenario, I wanted to get your thoughts, because I assume this is like for someone like yourself, you feed off that energy of the crowd and obviously of the games, and there's a lot of different crowd events. But going to the offsite event at Wodapalooza, specifically the 5K sort of trail run, me and Brian went out there, and it was very much just like athletes were there in a park. You can go whenever you wanted to start. There's no fans. There was no nothing. Like, how is that? Is that sort of like, man, like this is just like another training day, or like can you still kind of get amped up? Like how does it feel in an event like that versus like when you're normally competing, you have some sense of fans, media, etc., but you're just out there just with a bunch of competitors just running?
Yeah, no, it definitely takes a lot of the pressure and nerves off, because I mean, normally you're out there, you're on the start line, you get corralled, you have like 15, 20 minutes from the time you last warmed up to the start of the event. Like you start to get cold, you're looking to your left and right, you're seeing all the competitors you're going to have to go against. They're like athletes, 2 minutes, 1 minute, 10 seconds. And then you get the 3, 2, 1, go. There's an adrenaline dump. Everyone sprints, you know, like it's just hectic, you know? And I think when we went out there, it was none of that. I mean, we just kind of went out there like, yeah, if you're ready, you can just go start. So we kind of warmed up, and it was like 15 minutes before our heat. And we're like, well, we might as well just kind of go now. And we just kind of hit the workout, especially in that event. We weren't thinking that we were going to do too great. I mean, I haven't done a lot of like fast running, a lot of like zone 2 kind of stuff. So kind of hit a 5K. I was like, well, honestly, guys, I have no idea what's going to happen. It's kind of go out here and run this thing. And we all did that. And I remember sitting back in the hotel room after, and we all got like, dude, I think we won somehow. And it was it was pretty cool. But yeah, I mean, it was still like a super fun event. I mean, anything you're doing something outside the gym, off site, I mean, it's just fun. I mean, you're running bike trails and stuff. I mean, it's way better than running, what is that, 16 laps or 12.2 laps around a track, you know?
Yeah,
right.
But yeah,
well,
it was
did you
fun.
guys run together as a team, or did you all just go out and hit your own pace?
No, just kind of all went out and hit our own pace. I mean, from the get-go, we all, I think, were within 40 seconds of each other from our fastest person to our slowest person. So it was pretty good. Yeah, it was a fun event.
Do you look back when you see an event like that? Because when you competed at Granite Games, the first time you competed was at 2018, maybe 2019, when you struggled on the run there. What I forgot, forgot what type of event that was, but it was an outdoor run. And is that something that now you look back and you're like, hey, whenever there's an outdoor run or something like that, that's my wheelhouse now? Are you kind of proud of that fact? And you know, was that moment at the Granite Games when you kind of didn't do so well on that? Is that kind of like the starting point of where you turn a weakness into a strength, and now that's something you're known for?
Yeah, no, 100%. I mean, that's like the best feeling ever is like, I always say that there's great things that can come from terrible situations. And I just like choose to find that, and when you do have one of those bad events, obviously it's not good, but the best feeling ever is to come back the next year and kind of stomp it. And I think it really shows like who's training correctly, like who has a bad event one year and comes back the next year and fixes it, and I think those are the athletes that are dangerous, the people that can really work on their weaknesses and fix them and be like a whole different athlete the next year. And I think that's one of the things Matt did best. I mean, I think the most iconic thing was the same thing. He was really bad at running per se, comes back the next year, he wins the trail run, and I don't know if he got first or second, but in the sprint also. I mean, it was pretty crazy to see him do that.
Interesting concept to have a group start. Wonder if times would have been different if teams were pushing other teams.
Yeah. I mean, the times definitely would have been different. I mean, one of the cons though, for us going early is we went with some of the RX people and they were releasing us every like 30 seconds or every minute or something like that. And I was like, well, we're not going to catch too many of them. Like to make up 3 or 5 minutes on a 5K. I mean, that's a lot. And what there would be 3 teams, and we ended up catching so many, and it's on a single track bike trail. So you can't you can't run side by side. So like you're running up, you're like on your left, and you have to like sprint past them and then deaccelerate, and just like doing that in the beginning was really hard because it's not like a super constant pace. Whereas if you went with all the elites, it would have probably been not a lot of jockeying for position. Because for one, if one of my competitors is running behind me and they tell me they're going to pass me, man, I'm just going to start running.
Yeah, exactly.
So I mean, there's pros and cons to either of them, but especially out there, I mean, there's no judges, nothing. I mean, every like half a mile, maybe there's a judge or something like that at some weird turn. So yeah, it would have been interesting if it was all a mass start. Would have seen people come back in the bushes or something.
Yeah, I was hoping Wodapalooza would double down on that, because I think like Wodapalooza is very much community based, right? And so having RX athletes and elite athlete, like it's pretty cool for being an RX athlete to actually I guess kind of compete alongside the elite athletes to some degree.
Yeah.
So like if you could really like showcase that like this is what we did, and it happens at Wodapalooza, the only place it can happen, sort of a cool community event. But
yeah, no, 100%.
So what'd you get your degree in? I mean, you graduated from Boise State. Was it a year ago?
2 years ago, I think now. Kinesiology.
Okay.
Yeah. And so I had an emphasis in like exercise science. So like the goal was to be like a trainer at a college or something like that. Was something that if I didn't do something in CrossFit, that would kind of be the path I wanted. I mean, I've always really been into fitness, really been into training, and I really enjoy training with people. Like the reason why I don't want to train with a male athlete is not because of the competitiveness or anything like that. It's like I feel like I could probably help them a lot, and I don't want to help a competitor. So I would really enjoy it, and I think that's like something that I'm excited about to get into. Like later on down the road, I definitely want to get into something like that. Hopefully, like in the future.
Did you go to a lot of in-class classes, or were you more like online class?
A mix. I mean, COVID definitely pushed everything online for me. And obviously it made training a lot easier when everything was online. So my first 2 years I was completely in. My junior year was COVID, so I was completely out. I had some family stuff come up where I actually dropped out for a semester. Still took some
dropout. College
yeah,
dropout.
pretty much.
Yeah.
It was cheaper to do that. It was cheaper to drop out and then buy classes individually than just become a part-time student. It was weird. So I like dropped out, but I still just became a part-time student and took some classes online so I could be back home and help out.
Did you your senior year, did you attend any classes in person?
Yeah. My senior year, I went back and finished. Did
you have anyone like kind of recognize you, or were you kind of just like that guy with the mullet that sits in the back of the room, or I mean, were people like, hey, that's a CrossFit Games champion back there? You just turned in a check for like $300,000.
Eventually my class found out, not from me telling them. I mean, I don't like to brag, and obviously like there's the football players.
You're not wearing You're not wearing
No.
your fittest shirt, the one
And I
from the
don't.
podium
It's
across
not like
class.
it's not like I look like it either. I
No.
mean, there's guys that go to the gym that look way fitter than me. So, and then people say like, "Oh yeah, you're the fittest man in the world." It's like, you don't look like it. I'm like, yeah, I know. I don't get it. Like it's pointless to tell anybody. You're just gonna end up feeling bad about yourself. But
That's why
yeah,
they
I
give you
know.
the shirt, so that way you can wear around. Let people know.
So people know.
Or
Yeah,
wear the
I
medal.
did
You got the shirt or the medal. You got to wear one of those around.
yeah. I did a strength and conditioning class,
Mhm.
and I think about halfway through the semester we were doing body fat percentage,
Yeah.
and it was just like pinch test, like something
Mhm.
super
Yeah, the
simple.
pinch,
You got in
kinda.
groups, and the people that I was in, they're like, "Hey, you're gonna have to select someone in your group to like test." And everyone in my group was like pretty hesitant, and I was like, I don't care if you guys want to, like, you guys can pinch test on me, like it doesn't matter. And they're like, "Oh man, like what do you do?" And I was like, "Oh, I do CrossFit." And they're like, "Oh, that's cool. Like, do you want to compete in it or anything?" I'm like, "Yeah, no, like I compete and stuff." Like, "What? Do you want to go to the CrossFit Games one day?" And I was like, "Well, I've gone to the CrossFit Games before." And like, "What? Really? No way." Like, "What's your name?" And they like looked me up and like, "You won?" And it was crazy, but it was funny. They were all pretty surprised. And then
Uh,
next thing you know, I'm just the CrossFit guy for the rest of
the
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 semester.
CrossFit guy.
Yeah.
Did you play? Did you get an opportunity to play any intramurals while you're undergrad there, or you just too busy training?
No, just kind of try to focus on training. I mean, there's a lot of stuff I wanted to do. I almost did rugby. I almost walked
Ooh.
onto the football team just because I didn't think I could start or anything. But I was like, I
Sure.
feel like I'm fit enough to where I could probably just be on the roster, like be on the practice squad or something. Like I
Mhm.
played football in high school. I was not good, but I was like, I feel like I could. So me and my friends trained in the off season to do it. But that next year, COVID happened, and then obviously CrossFit kind of took off. So I never got to do it. But just like looking back in college, like those are the things that I maybe wish I would have done. Like went out for like the rugby team or something. But obviously, I could have freaking blew out a knee, and I wouldn't have been doing this. So
Exactly.
everything happens for a reason.
It definitely does. So you mentioned eventually. I mean, do you have any desire to open an affiliate, or are you just kind of content with what you have right now, like having a shred shed, having a group there, maybe doing some individual coaching, or is that something you're interested in? Maybe because we've seen it in the past where a lot of the OG, like the Fronings, the Camille's, all of them had their L1s, L2s, their instructors, and we're seeing less and less of that now with the athletes. And I don't know if that's because it's more of a professionalization of the sport, or there's just more things going on. But I mean, is there any thought put into that at all?
Yeah, I mean, I did take my L1. I actually took it at the ranch, which was pretty cool.
Awesome.
It's expired now.
Sure.
So I didn't go back and take it. I think I did it in 2017 or something like that. But anyways, it's like opening an affiliate is definitely something that I want to do. It's not the next thing I want to do.
Of course.
I definitely I grew up in an affiliate with a community, and it's something that I'm very passionate about, but running an affiliate is not what I want to do in the future. Like I love training and coaching people, but I've coached classes and stuff like in high school and stuff, and the hardest thing for me to coach was someone brand new.
Oh,
It was just like, and I'm sure that is with most
Sure.
people, but it's crazy how far back you have to dial it. And I think one of the things that I enjoy most about talking with a competitor is obviously like the nitpicking things, like the small things that no one notices that make a huge difference, and talking about workout strategy and plan. And when you have someone that's new or just kind of coming into fitness, just kind of wanting to be healthy, like they honestly don't care about a workout strategy. Like they just want to go in there and have a good workout and have fun, which is awesome. But I really enjoy like the part of like really, really coaching CrossFit as what it is. So for me, I definitely want to have a program that provides an opportunity for a lot of people just kind of go train, have fun, have a really good program that's going to help you reach your goals and what you want to do in a really fun way, but also kind of have a core group of athletes that I can help kind of reach and see how far they can take their fitness goals. And hopefully I can build a platform that I'm successful enough where I can also have an affiliate where I can do that with and be a part of the community. Cause I do think that's such a big part of what I do and why I am who I am, because I did come up an affiliate and I do still train at affiliate when I'm with Adam's gym, and it's some of the best training environments that it is. Just to be a part of a community like that is super special.
Yeah, I was about to say that before you did. Is like you're surrounded by. I mean, Adam has probably one of the more successful affiliates out there. I mean, both in terms of just the average Joes and competitively.
No, and I think the one thing that's super unique about his gym is obviously he's been to the games 10 times as a team athlete and has success in that, but that's not why his gym is what it is. It's not because he was a 10 times CrossFit Games athlete. A lot of people don't even recognize that about him, which is crazy to me. I wish more people knew that, because to be a 10-year an affiliate games, like be there, is crazy. I mean, I think it wasn't like they had 4 or 6 people that were really fit. I mean, I think they had almost 30 people in that 10-year span go to the games. Like it was all people that were a part of the community and built up, which I think speaks volumes to Adam. But yeah, I mean, his gym is just second to none. It's crazy.
We got Peter here. Business prostitution, Justin. Bankroll and open one in Ireland. Take all the risks, and I'll run it for you. You can drop it and coach whenever. Which is funny because, well, Peter, you're gonna have to get your L2 now. Apparently, Peter's getting his L1 in a couple weeks, I believe, or next month. So, but
that's awesome.
Yeah. So, well, there you go. You have an opportunity in Ireland, I guess. He'll run it for you. Just put your face, put your silhouette, put whatever on the outside. I think it'll be good. Well, we don't want to keep you too long. It's been obviously we appreciate you being on, but before we let you go, Carson, semis in Carson, you didn't get the opportunity to compete in Carson at all. Missed out a couple of years. How excited are you that the actual semifinal is going to stay on the West Coast this year? And how excited are you to be competing in Carson? Well, we don't know if it's going to be indoor, outdoor. I mean, everything I'm hearing is they have like a arena there or some type of convention center, but just bringing it back. Are you excited about that?
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm super excited. I just, I'm hoping that in CrossFit we get a lot more consistency than we've had with everything. But I think one of the things that was so cool about regionals is it did help promote the community. Whereas, like, I know if I had a semifinal that was on the West Coast every single year, I mean, I'm so fortunate to have a community that's behind me and be a part of so many cool gyms with Adam's gym, my gym back home in Lodi, Fulcrum Fitness, and all that. But I know there's so many people at that gym that would love to come watch me compete. Like the games might be too big of a step for them, but that semifinal event is super special. And lots of people that do CrossFit would travel to that, especially if they know it's going to be there year after year after year. So I think just to kind of have one, hopefully, at least it's always on the West Coast, so people know they're going to be able to go. But like I know in previous years, like having to go out to Tennessee, I mean, I had so much fun competing, but I mean, it was a huge trip. It's a small airport. Like it was $1,000 flights round trip, and a lot of people can't afford that. So hopefully kind of having it down in one spot, you get to see the same athletes year after year, see them progress, see the athletes that were right on the line and kind of make it the next year. And I think it really helps build the community, because you're going to have people that are going to go back year after year after year, watch the same athletes, root for the same athletes. And hopefully we start to get more of that. Because I remember competing in Del Mar for semifinals or not semifinals, regionals when it was a thing. And I thought that was one of the coolest venues. I remember the stadiums were packed out. I mean, it was just the coolest possible environment that there was. And it's not a knock on anybody that the semifinals weren't at that level this past handful of years, but hopefully we can kind of get back to that, because I know the CrossFit community wants it for sure.
Oh, an Ellie question.
Yeah. For Ellie this year, I mean, last year, she obviously applied for the exemption, trying to stay out here on the West Coast. She's kind of going through that process with CrossFit right now. We'll see how that goes. Cooperation's been a little bit difficult, trying to get her to stay. I think a lot of people know that she lives here. She wants to be here. Like she's not trying to escape. I mean, she won her semifinal last year being there. So I don't think it's any of that. So hopefully that they kind of let her stay. I mean, she has her life here now. So we're kind of going through that process right now. Hopefully she's able to stay and they don't have to send her back, because she goes back. It's just like one of our coaches has to go with her. Yeah. So then it kind of splits our team in half. I mean, she has a dog, she has a house. I mean, her life's kind of here now. So it's
that's there. Yeah.
It's crazy.
Just say you have a dog. Just have a dog. I mean, a dog's here.
Yeah. Like, what do you expect me to do? I mean, it's a freaking 16 It's like a 24-hour travel day too on top of that. I mean, anybody that's ever traveled that kind of distance, tell me you'd want to do that and then compete in a CrossFit Games weekend. So we'll see how it is. I think it's nice to see a lot of people support of her wanting her to compete here, and hopefully kind of CrossFit kind of works with us.
Yeah, I mean, you have the evidence right now. I mean, you guys just went to Miami for a few days and your dog was getting all types of stuff. So imagine, that's your excuse right there.
Yeah.
It's like, if I go to Australia, something bad might happen to my dog. Nothing.
Yeah, I know.
You should tell him that should be your
exactly.
argument.
I think so too, for sure.
Yeah. One thing before we let you go, who's controlling the music in the shred shed? I was wondering that, because it seems like you and Ellie have like different, music tastes.
For sure. I mean, given that we train in here 2-3 times a day, sometimes together. I mean, we're in here so much time. I mean, we listen to literally everything. She gets like the aux cord for a couple, and she's like, "Hey, I'm tired of my music. You need to put something on." I get to put something on. But honestly, the best music that it was such a surprise. There's a playlist on SoundCloud. And it's called like Down Under Country Mix.
Oh, that's awesome.
And there's
so
like
good.
five volumes to it. Oh, they are so good. Anybody that's country music fan that like can work out the country, I'm telling you, if you listen to that, you will love working out the country, because it is so good. So we listen to a lot of that. Sadly, we've kind of listened to those playlists a lot. So we're trying to kind of branch out a little bit. But man, it's like a 45, 50-minute kind of like mashup of country songs that kind of flow one into the other, and especially because I'm not paying for a SoundCloud membership. It's just one song, so there's no freaking commercials that come on in between them. But yeah, it's pretty cool. But yeah, so, kind of listen to everything.
Yeah, so you're currently taking music recommendations.
Yep, currently taking music recommendations. Anybody has any?
Did you and Ellie? I mean, what'd she get you for Christmas this year, and what'd you get her? Anything interesting?
She actually got me a set of golf clubs.
Oh,
yeah. I did pick up a little bit of golf after the games this year. I wanted to do something, just kind of like getting out of the gym, and I had a set of golf clubs, and I live like across the street from me is a golf course. I'm like, I'll go try it out, and I've never kept score of a round before, ever. And I was like, played the first 3 or 4 holes, and I was like, I haven't lost my ball yet. I'm gonna actually keep track, and I like got a score. And I'm competitive, and now I'm like a little bit hooked. But it's nice. I mean, just to like go out to the driving range or something. It's something that's low impact for me. Yeah. Gives me a good mental break. I can go out there for an hour on a rest day. It's not like I'm expending too much energy. Have a good time, and I like how it challenges me mentally. It's pretty crazy. I remember I went out, and I don't have too many people to play with here, so I would just like get put into random foursomes. And I suck at golf. I am so bad. But stepping up onto the tee box with 3 random dudes that you've never met before, watching me, and I can tell that they're all good golfers. Like, you just look at their bags and their clubs, and I got mine for $5 at a garage sale. So I'm like up there with these sketchy ass clubs and just like completely hitting the worst shots off the tee box. But it's pretty crazy. It's honestly really similar to competition, being able to like step up onto the start mat, and like I know I'm gonna swing bad because I'm nervous, and it's fun to kind of try to like channel that and kind of play. And you're sitting in a golf court just kind of riding around, so it's a good kind of thing that I do sometimes on my rest days. But
well, I think with Cooper being up there now, I think you might have found another, or he can probably get Scott Stallings up there. Maybe
I know. I definitely need some lessons, but yeah, I got Ellie like this Lulu jacket that she wanted because it's freaking cold here, and she's from Australia, so doesn't have any nice jackets. So got her that, and then I actually got her a custom Rogue barbell from the gym.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's
awesome.
Yeah. Well, we appreciate the time, Justin. I really do. Brian sends his apologies. He really wanted to be here, but he's traveling. He's got another competition he's traveling, covering this weekend. But we'd love to have you back on with him, and maybe he can actually dive into some more of the statistical analysis stuff. And
for sure.
But I'm glad you. Thank you for taking time today, and enjoy the rest of your rest day. And tell Ellie, we look forward to having her on soon, and also tell Theo we said what's up.
Awesome. Will do. Appreciate you guys.
Thanks, Justin.
Sweet.
Later.
See ya.
Oh, that was fun.
Nice.
Yeah. Taylor. Yeah, dude. Oh, sorry. Yeah, dude. It's just the only time available. It's his rest day, and his schedule's really close. So, yeah. And we're not really too concerned about the live views. Yes, we do really well on the podcast, anyways, and we figure people watch it anyway. So, yeah, that's kind of why. So, yeah, we're at the mercy of some of our guests sometimes. So. Yeah, I'm doing good. How you doing, Chad? Well, actually, I'm not. I'm doing shitty. I'm doing really shitty. Actually, my legs hurt so much. I tried to flush them out last night on the C2 bike, and they're still freaking hurting.
So, why were they hurt in the first place?
Well, I went to the gym for the first time in like 3 weeks, and it was all first day we had it was a thruster workout where at the final it was a 15-minute workout. The workout itself was only 8 minutes, but you had like another whatever time you finished the actual workout, you had the rest of the time to establish a 1 rep thruster max. So okay. and then Tuesday we had to establish a 10 rep max for back squat. So yeah.
Nice. Okay.
But yeah, so my legs are just they suck right now. They really do.
All right.
Yeah. Yeah, but it was great having Justin on. I mean,
yeah.
I've always enjoyed. We didn't get a chance to talk about him. Maybe we'll next time. Is his family? His family is just. It's so he talks about the community that supports him, but I mean, leading that community is the family. His mom, his father, his 2 sisters, his friends. They've been ever since I saw him in 2020 when they're at Carson, when they're on that soccer field and they're on top of an RV cheering them on when there weren't supposed to be any fans. I was like, these are awesome people. And and then I've got a chance to know his family very well because at the games, because of the RV park, we've always typically got an RV right next to them. And speaking of which, RVs, the spots went on sale. So they actually have RVs for the games this year. It's actually being a parking lot. Apparently they have hookups there. So nice. We might have to look into the RV again this year. I mean, that's kind of been a staple.
Yeah.
And today, CrossFit Games tickets for affiliates went on sale. So if you're an affiliate that has 12 or more members, they are on sale, available for affiliates only. So we'll put a post up on that this afternoon. So if you're an affiliate and you are looking for your games tickets for Fort Worth, there is a pre-sale for that. So I don't know what you got going on the rest of the week.
Then public sale, I think, is next Monday.
Yeah, next Monday. Correct.
Yeah.
What you got going on the rest of the week?
I'm competing in a local throwdown on Saturday.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Partner or
partner? Yeah, just a fun little partner 3 work.
Male, female, male. Gotcha.
Yeah, should be fun.
Cool. What's your team
name? My partner is way fitter than I am, and our team name is Grass-Fed Buttery Bros.
Grass-fed. Did you make shirts for it?
I did not make shirts for it.
Okay. I don't know. I mean, if he's fit, you're pretty fit. You're Chad. You're pretty fit. But
I'm fairly fit. He's my nephew, and he's younger and fitter for sure.
Okay.
So I'll make sure I just keep whipping him.
Yeah. Jeffrey, you judging at TFX? Well, hell yeah, good job.
Go say hi to Brian.
Yeah, say hi to Brian. Say hi to Ken at Sherpa Works. He'll have a booth there with some of our merch there. So swing by. We have patches. I don't know if there's anything new that he'll have in terms of B.Friendly merch, but there'll definitely be B.Friendly merch there.
That's some of the cool OG stuff from the Wodapalooza. Yeah. That stuff went over really well.
Cool stuff. That is. I think we might have some Wodapalooza shirts.
I don't know if he might have this shirt.
Yeah,
maybe.
Yeah. They were out of the
leftovers.
Yeah, they were out of the white ones.
Yeah.
So I really missed out on the white ones. But yeah, stuff's been selling really well. We're working on another drop, probably maybe before semifinals. But yeah, and then we're working on some other things to kind of keep some of our stuff. So that way we can actually have an online store. So we're working on some things with that.
Heck yeah.
One thing I did, I forgot to ask Justin, was like fantasy football. I know he's big into fantasy football. So I was going to see if he wanted to join a league next year. I always wanted to do like a CrossFit, like,
yeah, that's a great idea.
Like, because I know like Jason Hopper plays fantasy football, and it was funny. It just, there's quite a few athletes. I thought it'd be kind of cool. I know there's one for like I know John Young and Spin. They had like one for like CrossFit analysts and stuff like that. But well, I think it'd be kind of cool to have one with athletes. You know, yeah. So yeah, that's all we got. Again, we want to thank HomeGrown Releaf for being the sponsor of the show. Just great stuff. Check it out. I'm actually leaving today to shoot a basketball game. So my dogs get really anxious whenever they see me pack up the camera gear. So they're like, "Oh, this asshole is going to be gone for a little bit." So I use the HDR, the pet anxiety relief, whatever you want to call it, for them before I leave.
I feel like they should use you as a spokesperson. You should shoot some content.
I think I'm going to. Actually, I'm going to shoot some for them. Yeah, and then send it to them and see what they want, if they like it or use it, or we can do some stuff. So yeah, shout out to HGR as always. Next week, yeah, that's all we got for this week. Next week, we working on another guest. Next week, we will try not to have it during the same time as Shut Up and Scribble, and then we'll also have probably a recap and preview show for next week's competition that Brian's traveling to. So thanks again, Chad. Thanks for jumping on. I appreciate that.
Happy to tag along.
Huh?
We should call ourselves the replacements when Brian's not here.
The replacements, yeah. We apologize that Brian and Bella weren't here. Our bad. We'll try harder next time, really. But I thought it went well. Exactly. It's first time. Both of us actually kind of. Well, actually, we did this at freaking Wodapalooza. Yeah, screw this.
I think Brian's doing it on purpose now that he saw us at Wodapalooza. He's just like,
yeah.
We're
not the replacement. We're the A team now.
Okay, all right.
That's how. Yeah,
I like it.
I love it. Thanks again, everyone. Thanks for all the support. Like, follow, subscribe. Make sure you sign up for alerts on our YouTube channel. Don't forget, if you have missed this, this is available for download on our podcasts. Through all the major podcast streaming services. So if you're working out and you want to listen to Justin in this interview, that's probably the best way to do it. And with that being said, Chad, you got anything you want to close out with?
No. You're the best one at closing it out, so I'll let you do it.
Yeah. Best one. All right. Well, as always, be friendly, our friends.